Dr. Arnold Joseph Toynbee, a British historian, after delving deeply into world history, strongly suggested that Confucianism and Mahayana Buddhism can solve problems of the 21st century. One of our viewers from Europe said, "I thought that Confucian wisdom was outdated, rigid, and had no value outside of Asia. I also thought that a series of teaching for children could not be useful to adults like me. I had never been so wrong. Since listening to the teachings, I have understood the importance of filial piety, social harmony, and love for others. My relations with others are improving daily. And so are my good habits." The lectures of Dizigui in details, guidelines for being a good person, have touched myriad people. Master Chin Kung once said that the reason his speeches are so powerful is because he had implemented Dizigui teachings in his daily life. Thanks to a Lotus Friend for sharing her transformation in her Dizigui learning. May we all reveal the virtues of our heart nature by learning sage teachings.
The beacon light of life.
The Buddha mentioned the three seals of the Dharma. All things are impermanent, all dharmas have no self, and nirvana is perfect serenity, which have been shown unceasingly to us in our life journey. Due to these Buddha's discoveries and teachings, we are able to follow in the footsteps of past sages, embarking on the path of observing the Four Noble Truths, suffering, origination, cessation, and way, to experience the scenery along our life journey and ultimately reach nirvana, the pure land of our own self-nature. These Four Noble Truths can be discovered, understood, and realized from within our heart.
Before learning Dizigui.
The memory of my learning Dizigui is like a long sealed treasure box, in which a bright pearl quietly emits soft lights. The crystal clear light of the pearl dispels the darkness of my sentimental tears, soothes my regret of not being able to take care of my parents in the past, opens the time tunnel in my memory, and brings back scenes of the lost past. When my mother was alive, I had not yet learned Dizigui, but I always thought of taking care of my parents. I took action and moved back to Taiwan from the US, wishing to accompany my parents and help them with their daily chores. However, love is easier said than done. Not knowing the art of getting along with others, I sometimes made my elderly mother unhappy or worried. Looking back now, I realized that it is I who lacked wisdom and patience, leading me to have inappropriate interactions with her. My mother passed away very suddenly. She sprained her foot while walking near home. She took a bus to the hospital by herself for treatment, but died in the hospital that afternoon. The hospital announced that the cause of her death was blood thrombosis, which had never been a problem in her medical history. I rushed back from the US to be with my father and, at the same time, to uncover the true cause of my mother's death. Later I learned that it was medical negligence on the part of the hospital. As most modern people, I was determined to seek justice for my mother and prepared to take legal action. My father, who had studied sage teachings since his childhood, said,
If we were to file a lawsuit, your mother's body would have to go through autopsy and could not be cremated on schedule. In addition, it is very possible that the hospital would change the medical records to favor themselves. The past has passed. I only hope that your mother could have a peaceful passing.
He advised me to inform the hospital to treat every patient with extreme caution to avoid the same medical negligence instead of filing a lawsuit. After listening to my father's advice, I focused on my mother's funeral, yet a deep regret still lingered in my heart. Why didn't I stay longer to accompany and take care of my dear mother? I repeatedly asked myself,
why?
Until now, my regret and remorse are still hidden deep down in my heart.
After learning Dizigui.
I encountered Dizigui's teachings after my mother's passing. Unlike most people who think that Dizigui is for children to learn, I think that we, regardless of age, must first take care of the 5 ethical relationships by practicing the 5 constant virtues in our daily lives. Through learning from the videos of Dizigui in detail by teacher Sai Lishu, now known as Venerable Chengda, I read the verse of Dizigui every morning and evening. Not only did I memorize the text but also examined my daily conducts based on the teachings. After my mother passed away and I had learned Dizigui, I couldn't help missing and worrying about my elderly father, so I made many trips to visit him. I acted in accordance with the rules of Dizigui to take care of my father every time I went back to see him. I took care of my father sincerely from the bottom of my heart, soaking his feet, massaging him, and cooking for him. We chatted and sunbathed on the balcony every day. My father expressed his satisfaction and said,
"I have received the blessings brought to me by my daughter."
Upon hearing his words, I felt profoundly grateful for my father for giving me the opportunity of being able to fulfill filial piety. To those who promote Dizigui, my gratitude is beyond what words can describe. At that time I tried to persuade my father to move to the US and live with me after my mother passed away. But my father, for the reason of not wanting to give me burden, insisted on staying in Taiwan. I then suggested that I would move back to live with him and take care of his daily needs. But my father, not wanting me to once again quit my job and separate from my family, still refused. My father wished for my elder brother, who was already retired, to come back to take care of him. My brother obeyed my father's wish, moving back from the north to the south of Taiwan to live with my father. I am very grateful for my brother's timely assistance in taking on all the responsibilities. In my father's daily life, he would, facing the Buddha statue, sit and chant Amitabha in the Buddha's hall at home. He chanted a certain number of times of Amitabha as his daily routine. However, he spent most of his time lying in bed since his strength lessened as he got older. I urged him to keep chanting while lying in bed, but he said,
"It is not respectful to chant while lying down."
I continued to persuade him. Amitabha has great supernal powers and is very compassionate. He understands all the physical difficulties of elderly people and will not blame them. You can chant silently while lying in bed or by simply thinking of Amitabha's holy name. Both have the same merits. You can also visualize Amitabha's light shining on you, keeping every thought toward the rebirth into Amitabha's pure land. Do not think about your body or the Saha world anymore. After listening carefully, my father said to me,
"Okay, I will listen to my daughter. My daughter is good to me and will not lie to me."
I was so happy. My father started chanting Amitabha again.
My brother's misunderstanding and worries.
Every time I returned home, I stayed with my father and never went anywhere else. This aroused my brother's suspicion and dissatisfaction. He thought I coveted my father's wealth and that I was acting nice to my father with a purpose of pursuing the inheritance. He told me,
"You are a married daughter and have no right to share the inheritance. Do you know that?"
Upon hearing this, I neither argued nor left. I stayed and continued to accompany and take care of my father. The only regret I had was that I was not wealthy enough, which led to my brother's misunderstanding. One time when I was watching TV with my father, my brother came back and sat on the sofa. There was some water on the sofa, making his pants wet. My brother lost his temper on the spot, pointing at me and yelling,
"You deliberately put water on the sofa to humiliate me!"
He picked up the plastic chair next to him and threw it at me. At that moment, I fell into the arms of my father. The chair didn't hit me. But in fright, my father's dentures fell out. My father scolded my brother that he shouldn't have thrown a chair at his sister. He also asked me to apologize to my brother. I did as my father requested and apologized to my brother. After sending my father to his room to rest, I found my brother in the kitchen. I explained to him, I did not deliberately put water on the sofa to frame anyone. But it was my negligence not noticing the water on the sofa. I had no clue where the water came from. Please forgive me. I know you are very unhappy that I have been staying here to accompany our father. Please understand my reason. It is because I got married early and emigrated abroad with my husband when I was young. I did not fulfill my filial duty to tend to them. Parents are the people we owe the most to in our life. I feel very ashamed for not having fulfilled my filial duty. So I now wish to make it up by coming back to tend to Dad with a repentant heart. Now that Mom has gone, I just want to fulfill my filial duty to Dad. I don't want any inheritance. Please understand. After saying that, I knelt down in the kitchen and bowed 3 times to my brother. My brother was so angry that his face turned red. He paused a bit and said with doubt, contempt, and indifference,
Stop acting! Everyone knows that you are an extremely calculating person. No one will believe you.
I can understand why my brother said that. My brother is my parents' adopted child, and I am their biological child. He was worried that if I fight for inheritance as a biological daughter, he might be excluded. To avoid the distribution of my father's inheritance in the future, it would be better to speak ill now so that I would know the difficulty and give up. I understood my brother's concerns. And I didn't blame him at all.
A family secret.
From childhood to adulthood, my brother and I grew up together. Our parents treated us equally, lovingly, and selflessly. I had no idea at all that my brother was an adopted child. I did not know my brother was an adopted child until my first child was 1 month old. When I heard the rumors, I didn't believe it. I called my mother. She answered me on the phone. It is true, your brother is an adopted child. My mother said that, at that time, she gave birth to a baby boy who passed away shortly after birth. Seeing my mother's grief, a neighbor found a local family who were willing to give away their newborn baby boy for my mother. The baby loved my mother's milk and they seemed to have great affinity. Due to this reason, my parents raised this adorable baby boy as their own child. After my brother got married, my mother told him the truth and wanted to help him find his biological parents. My brother held my mother and cried,
No need to look for them. No need at all. They abandoned me. You are my mother.
The mother and son held each other and cried bitterly. Afterward, my mother said to me seriously, Do not let your father and your brother know that you already know about this. Never mention it to them and never ask them. From that moment on, I understood the profound love and worry that my mother always had for her family. I felt my parents were great. I was very moved and grateful for their selflessness and equal dedication to their children. From then on, I vowed to love what my parents love, my only sibling, and to respect him under any circumstance. Dizigui, the light of heart nature. When I do not value wealth much, how can there be resentment? When I hold back hurtful comments, anger will naturally dissipate,